Welcome back to the Dean Obeidallah Show. It's Friday, August 29th, third hour. Can only mean one thing on this show due to a lack of creativity. It's what just happened as we look back at the insanity of the week. And we've got two, potentially three great people joining. The third might come in anytime. Amel Khalil is back, actress. She's done some stand-up comedy because I know I put the shows together. She's stand-up, writing. She's appeared on Showtime, Super Pumped, Apple TV, City on Fire, and more. Amel, nice to see you, my friend.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me back.
Sure. And Amel's coming to us live from Florida, and the backdrop behind her is so happy and upbeat, and it doesn't jive with Florida. And also here, Lizz Winstead's back, comedian, co-creator of The Daily Show, a tireless activist for reproductive freedom, creator of Abortion Access Front, and host of the podcast Feminist Buzzkills. Hello, my friend Liz. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. I'm having my coffee.
And I got to tell you that your backdrop looks fun, even though you're in a different part of the world, in the colder part of the world, Minnesota. It looks upbeat and fun. And our third special guest is joining us any second. There, oh my God, right on time for his intro as he's connecting with his audio. There he is. Time for the intro. Let me intro you. Perfect time. We just started.
Oh,
Titus, Christopher Titus, one of the top comedians today, has released 7, maybe even 8 90-minute albums. This might be the 10th one. Has 6 comedy specials. 10 has 6 one-hour comedy specials running on Comedy Central and other places. Hosts a podcast, tours all the time, and he's here. Nice to see you.
Good morning, sir. You're great on MSNBC, man. You're really, and I love reading your Substacks, at least till it fades out because I don't have a subscription.
It should be free. Oh no, you're clicking on Medium. Sometimes I throw things on Medium.
That's what it is. Whatever the thing.
Substack, 100% free. Medium's free too. They want you to subscribe. I write for free. But so Titus, Lizz Winstead, Amel Khalil, you're all here. Let's start with something that happened earlier this week because I have a different take, but I want to hear your take first. There was another Trump cabinet meeting where, look, at the outset, I'm needy. Like if you guys came on and complimented me, I would like it. But even there's a point where I go like, I'm a little uncomfortable now. Like this is too much. I don't like that. But at this meeting, you had Labor Secretary Laura Chavez de Reamer invited Trump to come to the Department of Labor to see his big, beautiful face. They put up a big, huge banner like, I've been to the Middle East, and they don't do things for kings like that. This is how big, I'm not even kidding. And then Steve Witkoff did this whole thing about how you deserve a Nobel Peace Prize, went over and over. And at the end of his rant, the other members of the cabinet actually said, amen. Okay, this is the insanity for people. And it went on for 3.5 hours, the meeting, because Trump's got nothing to do, literally has nothing to do except sit around and be complimented. So Liz, let me start with you. What's going on here? Because I'm thinking something else is going on, but what's going on, Liz?
I mean, fascism is going on. I mean,
that's
fascism is going. I mean, is there another answer than that? Am I being punked? But no, I mean, it's clearly when you have assembled profound incompetence in jobs that they are not qualified for, the only way to keep your job is to literally tongue dart the leader. And that is what they are doing. It is just literally that and nothing more than that. And also it's the only way Trump can hide all of his appendages that are just bursting with heart disease. So he's just, sitting there.
He can't get up. Is that what's going on? Like they want to end the meetings. Like, no, everybody stay. I don't want the cameras are here. I don't want to see anyone see me stand up and see what this swelling that's gone on below the belt. That's what it is. He's like he's like an Oompa Loompa. He's like Gustavo, the kid who gets bloated up. Like, I mean, from Willy Wonka. Everything.
The blueberry.
Like that's what happens. I don't know. All right, Amel, what is your take? What is it? Just what it appears? The sycophant, they suck up to Trump because that's what he wants to hear. Is there anything other take you have to this?
No, I think for the people who don't actually want what he wants, I think they're maybe just scared. So it's the same thing. Like it's an incentive of just get on board, or you're gonna deal with the fate that the other people are gonna deal with on the other side of this line. So that's the good in me, hoping that there's just some goodness there and they're just scared.
It's very Saddam Hussein like, where you.
Oh my God, that's what I was gonna say.
Right.
Yes.
The minute you say something, you're dead. Like I mean,
just got the creepy sons and the bad art.
there was that clip where Saddam like named like I don't know like 30 people, like they were basically being named to go off to their death, and then the room full of people that was left was like cheering as loud as humanly possible. I'm like, you don't believe yourself, like you don't believe it.
Wow, Titus,
Yeah.
what you take, brother?
Man, I don't know if Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, but the cabinet deserves the Emmy that he didn't get. Holy God. I had my own TV show and I didn't get that much promotion. Jesus Christ. I think the weird part about it is like you think with that much ass kissing, I wonder how much ass kissing it would take to get him to eat a salad. That would be good if they could just compliment him enough so where maybe his legs would deflate. Listen, man, all I got to say is this: thank you, McDonald's. Keep just pumping burgers down that boy, because once that blood clot hits, millions will be served, billions will be served. I think we have a dictator and we have to face it, and nobody wants to face it because it's work. Listen, the war that's coming, you need to wrap your mind around what's coming. What's coming is not good. I was looking at the subject this morning and I was like, well, okay, it's good to be on Dean's last show. That's what I thought.
I don't think it's my last one. I'm so far down the list of them who they're going to go for. There are other people if there are other hosts that if they're gone, I'm like, okay, now we're getting there. Like, that's the truth. But here's what I think. Look, the obvious thing, he's a fascist and it's supreme leader stuff and you have to suck up to him. But it almost had, I watched a little, it almost had the sound of like, you're trying to get into the will of the rich guy who's dying. Like, you're looking at him and he's like, grandpa's not going to be here long. He's got lots of money and I want to make sure I get some money. And it's almost like a Knives Out type of the next version of the show, like who killed grandpa and that kind of thing. But they're all sucking up to him because it's like a living wake. It feels like that to me. Like it really is this odd thing.
I think it was like trying to get a 3-year-old to eat Brussels sprouts. That's what it sounded like to me. They were just up his ass so far, and they're dealing with a toddler. And how small is this man really that he needs that all the time?
Wouldn't you get uncomfortable? I mean, look, Liz, we all like compliments. We're human beings, but there's a point where if everyone did it around a room, I'm like, okay, thank you. I really appreciate it, but let's get to business. Like, because I'm president of the United States of America, we have a lot of things to do. Instead, this guy's like, take your time. So, like, I don't think he knows what's going on. I really don't. I think there's a detachment from reality that's beginning to set in even more. That's sort of my bigger point.
I don't need compliments from rotting garbage. You know what I mean? Like, that's the part that's so crazy. Like, I have set up the way I do my shows and the way that I have put myself in the public square to make sure that those who come to my shows are learning something, getting something, want to hear this. Like, to me, it's that whole weird, it doesn't matter who loves me as long as they're saying things to me thing that is so creepy. Also, the more you dive into his like hollowed out like hellhole of policies, you're just implicating yourself. If in turn we ever get back to a point where we have a democracy that would literally prosecute all of these people who should all be in The Hague, quite frankly. Like, why would, I don't know. It just seems like a real bad idea to be diving in hard and making dear leader, sweatpants or whatever they're doing and hanging shit from the walls. I don't know. I just feel like you're all in trouble if we would ever get Democrats that weren't easy listening Democrats, but that's another story.
Stop that. How dare you? Amel, what about, do you think they leave the room and actually like, there's almost laughter, like, oh, I can't believe you said that. That was so funny, would cough. And like, there's all like Rubio. I think Rubio is now about 8 inches big. Like, he's just shrunk. As your spine deteriorates, he's gotten small. So we didn't even see Rubio. But Amel, do you think these guys like leave the room and feel good about themselves? Like, I showed you, like, is it a game, you think, to them? Like, they're to them, it's a joke, just doing this for pop. And to pop, it's a big deal, but they actually think it's all bullshit too.
No. I think if they do think it's bullshit, they would never say it out loud. Because I think in that circle, they know they can't trust anybody around them. So they would never say it out loud. And I do think Trump is a character that's fun to watch. So if they don't give a shit about like the future of America, if they don't care about the future of America or whatever, they don't really have these values. Like, he's actually like funny to watch if you don't care about the consequence of what he's saying.
That's a good way of putting it. So I have to get Titus. This is one thing. JD Vance was asked by USA Today, "Are you ready to assume the role of commander in chief if your boss is the oldest person to be in the White House, all this kind of stuff? Are you ready?" And the normal answer of a human being is that you start out by going, "He's in great shape. What do you like? This is ridiculous." His answer was, "Well, I've got a lot of good on-the-job training in the last 200 days." That was his first answer. And then there was a moment of self-awareness, and then he pivots on, "But he's in great shape." I mean, I don't know why you say that. Literally, like that's because he's a human being. So he's actually like, he's ready. Like JD Vance is spending the weekend like whiting out the word vice on his business cards. Like he's like, this is the guys, look, give him a cheeseburger. We're getting there, honey. Like he's telling his wife that we're going to the big house. We're that close to the big house. I think JD Vance is God forbid there's a terrible tragedy. I can't think of a better on-the-job training than I've gotten over the last 200 days. That's how he ended. So in the middle was what you were supposed to say. The beginning and the end was really JD Vance looking forward to taking over.
Yeah, it would have been great had he just admitted it. Just if JD Vance would have looked over and go, "Look at him. Yeah, I'm ready, I guess." Because that's what I would be like. God, did you see the pictures? He's horrible. His ankles he literally looks like he's standing on beach balls. So yeah, whatever, dude. I think JD Vance is the dumbest. He's not as dumb as Trump, but he's pretty dumb. And Peter Thiel has already decided this. And I love that his first reaction was basically to start digging a grave and then to cover it. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'll be, but wait, no, he's good." So I think
that's what I think is funny. Like, we know what the answer should be. Any human being, your answer, the right answer, like, he's fine, he's great. God forbid something happens, I'm ready, but he's going to be there. Nope. In two different parts, it was JD Vance selling himself. I'm ready. And I found that really curious. I mean, Liz, should Donald Trump not take any cheeseburgers that JD Vance hands him? Like, is there a tester? Is there a taster? Like,
I mean, Donald Trump is one ball of congestive heart failure. So it's the writing's on the wall. It doesn't even matter. But I think what JD Vance does not realize is that the second that Donald Trump leaves this earth, 75,000 Republicans are jumping in the race to run for president. JD Vance, good luck. You'll be able to serve out this term. No one likes you. He's the Ted Cruz of JD Vance's. And so it's like, forget it. Like, too bad.
It's kind of remarkable. I thought it was really, and it did make some press. And we're chatting here with Amel Khalil, Lizz Winstead, and Christopher Titus, just Titus, not Christopher Titus, about the news of the week here in our segment, What Just Happened. So we'll get the Democratic governors warning about the end of times, and I think that's an important thing. But I found this really interesting, especially for Amel and for Liz, who work in the space of different things here. It's interrelated. Republican Congressman Josh Brechin, I listen to how his name is pronounced. It's just a weird name. It's Breccheen. It's like Brecken. It was at Oklahoma town hall this week. He's a member of Congress and warned that the Ottoman Empire is coming back. I'm not kidding. That's when Turkish ruled like a big part of the world. And he said, "We got Sharia law trying to be set up in America today." Absolutely, we do. We got Sharia law trying to be established in America today. And you know what? He's right. It's Christian Sharia law. Like, this guy is the biggest advocate. He's a Christian nationalist. Outside of his room, his office, he has Christian nationalist flags. He's a guy. So Liz, first of all, for you, this is a guy who's introduced the Life at Conception Act. He, at the town hall, when he's saying these guys want to oppose their religious beliefs, they asked him about Israel. And he said, "I believe in Genesis 12 and Genesis 17. Biblically, we have a
I believe in Genocide 12, Genocide 17.
A covenant with he literally cited the Bible as his reason defending Israel, while claiming Muslims want to impose beliefs based on our religion to become policy, when he's literally doing that right there in the room in Oklahoma."
The one thing, and I always say this to you, Dean, but I'm saying it again. I do not like saying Christian Sharia law because it takes Christians off the hook. So Christians have their own form of extremism that is profound. And in Sharia law, it has nothing to do with Christianity, right? Like, let's not say that, because it's a combination of like,
We use our stuff. We do that.
yeah, Christians have to be held accountable for their brutal extremist views. And if we can figure out something that's worse than extremist Christian nationalism, wholly subsidiary of hate and misogyny, I don't know what it is, but like, we are living in an oppressive Christian society that wants to reduce women to chattel status, that wants to, For some reason, here's what I just don't understand, because capitalism doesn't work unless you have people funding your bullshit, right? So these rich people who are capitalists who want this and who want this, Bilderberg society thing that we live in, you need people to stay alive to actually be doing the shit that matters. You're not going to be exempt from cancer, no matter how rich you are. So why are you cutting cancer research? If you only want women to be brood mares for you, you still have to live with them at the end of the day. So why are you creating horrible situations? I don't get any of their shit. I do not understand. I mean, I understand patriarchy, male dominance, like in people who are marginally, talented, furious that other people are better than them, so they have to tamp it all down. But the whole thing is so weird. So yeah, that guy is a Christian nationalist, that is
Supremacist is better, but
most
Christian
extreme.
nationalists, yes, definitely, with no wall between church and state, wants to turn
No.
religion into policy. That's Christian nationalism. I wish there was a harsher term, but Emma, are we planning to impose Sharia law? Like no one told me.
Inshallah. Like I think that's what they all say. Allahu Akbar. It's like just words.
Yes.
I don't think so. I think for me, what's more hilarious about this is that it works. Like they say, they have set up the boogeyman in our minds, from like the last, like whatever, 50 to 100 years, as this Arab, as this Muslim, as whatever. It works. So people are blind to these, like be afraid of a woman in a hijab, but like a nun covering up is something that is normal to you. So I just think it works. And that's the part that scares me, is that the revolution that Titus is saying that needs to, like, it's going to be a drag, but we're going to need to do something. Like, we need to get up and do something.
It's interesting. And Titus, here's a guy warning about Muslims want to impose their religious belief as laws when he's literally, him and the entire MAGA movement and the right is about that. I mean, you've got, is it 13 or 14 states, Liz, that abortion is banned at day one, at conception, where women lose the control of their own uterus because of the religious beliefs of generally the guys who are passing this legislation, that the lack of self-awareness to actually be there, who is a guy advocating for religious law to control us and saying, Muslims, they're trying to set up a Sharia law in America. I guess he should have said, that's our stuff. That's what we should. That's what
we've already done it.
We're going to sue the Taliban for trademark infringement. This is what we're about. How dare you? So, Titus, what do you think here, my friend?
Someone said nationalism Christians and then shortened it to Nazis. I saw that online. That made me laugh. Listen, it's just a Nazi thing. I mean, it's like they've just basically rebranded Nazism, and it's Christian, and that's what it is. I mean, it's like and that worked so well in the past. This is what I don't understand. These people have no concept of history, no concept of what's happening. We've tried this over and over again in oppressive societies, and it just doesn't work. And now at this point, I'm just waiting for the next, witch burning on the White House lawn. I think that's what's coming next, man, because it just, what I don't understand is why we aren't in the streets already. I think we're waiting for the Avengers or Captain America to show up, man. And Newsom's the best we got. And I'm okay with that. But I think that they haven't faced the fact that they're Nazis, and I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm doing a bit in my new show where I kind of go compare Hitler to Trump without ever bringing Trump up, and I say he's just they're we had a guy who the difference between Hitler and Trump is that Hitler served honorably in the military because he didn't have bone spurs, so it's really not like us at all.
Right.
I think we're in trouble, man, and we could talk about it and joke about it, but we literally have white supremacists. They're Nazis. They're just Nazis. They're just rebranding. It's the Cracker Barrel rebrand. That's all it is.
Oh, we'll get to the Cracker Barrel rebrand in a little while there, my friend. We have a lot to go. Look, I want to get to the war that's coming, because I talk about it on my show all the time. We are at war. I write it, I say it on my show, and if people don't get it, then you're just missing the boat. But let's talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, right? They got engaged. And the reason it's related to this subject matter is because the responsive MAGA to all of it. So if people don't know, and I think they know, Taylor Swift got engaged to football player Travis Kelce. And you've got right-wingers openly with big accounts online being very excited about this because it means more white children. That's what they were saying, openly saying. I'm not kidding. The N Wokeness account said, don't care if Taylor Swift's engagement is a sham. If it boosts Western birth rates, then nothing else matters. Western is white. That's just white. That's the way they say what. I don't know why they just don't say white. Like, we're so beyond code. Like, we know what you say. It's like wink, wink. And we don't need to wink. And Taylor Swift said, Charlie Kirk said to Taylor Swift, submit to your husband. You're not in charge, which is right from the New Testament in Timothy. And he wants more white kids, saying he hopes she has more children than she has houses. So they took this. So some of the headlines, honestly, in the media were like, MAGA oddly wishes Taylor Swift well after attacking her in the past, without reading the actual comments of what they're like, yeah, great. Now go have white babies. And great, you're together, but now go submit to your new husband, because that's how we believe in this, again, a Christian nationalist home. So, Amel, let's start with you here. I mean,
I have a question. Are white people not marrying white people? Like, why is that the thing they're focusing on? Like, are we having a hard time getting whites and whites to mate? Like, what's up?
They're holding us back. We're only 62%.
I see.
No, whites are not having as many babies as they're supposed to be. That's the thing. Like, the white birth rate is lower because of brown and black
people like me.
I just think the birth
birth
rate
control.
It's just lower, period. Because like the people don't want to have babies into this crap. It's hard. I just think it's like, yes, white birth rates are lower, but so are like just a general American birth rates.
Well, that's part of it too. But I mean, this open misogyny, Liz, because you touched on it earlier, this is part and parcel of the whole thing with that congressman. These are not outliers. This is mainstream on the right, and you live it because you have to hear their shit all the time because you're out there fighting for women's reproductive freedoms. So I imagine you're not surprised, but this is. I've kind of missed the corporate media missed this. The way they reported on it was more like, it's weird. Even Donald Trump's wishing them well. You read what his supporters are saying about why he's wishing them well.
But it's also just shows their level of stupidity. At what point of Taylor Swift's songs, public appearance, trajectory in her life says, hey, I'm gonna just hang this shit up and just start pumping out babies. I am just literally just giving up my birth canal to the greater good of whiteness. Like, there is no one she's doing what you can't, I doubt they'll have any, maybe she'll have kids. It'll be interesting to see, but I've seen a Taylor Swift show. I don't know how you rock something out of your body and continue to do that kind of behavior for hours on end every night. It's a lot. I mean, there's nannies. I mean, rich people can do whatever they want.
She's gonna have to submit to her man. Like, that's the point. She's gonna have to submit. That's all. Her life is.
That's it. Travis Kelce. Titus, what do you think? What would happen if Taylor Swift had gotten engaged to, like, a person of color? Like a black guy, an Arab immigrant. Like that kind of stuff.
That'd be different news. Well, listen, at least we wouldn't have any more white babies, because the reason people are not having white babies because white children are horrible. No one wants one of these little albino a-holes. No one's taking one of these Caucasian canker sores. They're horrible kids. It's never the black kid lying on his floor of the Walgreens screaming for the prepper-sized bag of peanut M&Ms. It's always the little white kid. So I've had two, and I would never have another one. I have learned my lesson. I'll tell you this, man.
You've had enough white kids. So you've had two white kids.
I've
and
had two
you're
white
giving
kids,
advice to everyone.
No,
also,
I'm going to have a Puerto Rican kid next. That's next.
Good luck with that. But also the census shows that we're much more multiracial as a nation.
Right.
People who are white are having babies with people who are not white, and that's freaking them out.
Yeah,
So
but here's the thing.
right.
They're always worried about, look, the right is always worried about vaginas because they're really not good at handling vaginas. That's the problem. They have a problem with vaginas. They're always worried. And the white race has caused every problem throughout history. I don't understand. And it comes back to being Nazis. They're just Nazis. So their white queen, Taylor Swift, who is one of the most liberal people ever, they're now holding her up as a queen. They can't even keep their own shit straight. So what is happening? Like white babies. Sure, let's have more white babies.
Also, I can't imagine that Taylor Swift would ever marry a dude who would be like, okay, now that we're married, I am now the ruler of the house and you submit to me, and that's what's happening. It's like, why would she need to marry anybody who would put a single constraint on anything she wanted to do? There would be nothing necessary about that. This would have to be purely a union of joy and equity, because why else would you?
Imagine if Travis Kelce was really bad like that. I mean, a lot of words rhymes with misogyny. You know, it would be in her songs. There'd be a lot of words like
The album would be great.
things rhyme with oppression. Her new song, her new album is called Misogyny. You know, like it's all about. It's like to the song, to the tune of Honesty by Billy Joel, you know, like
Bad wife, bad life. That would be a good one.
Exactly. So you've got, for someone to marry her and not understand her, like she'd be like, have you not read the lyrics of my songs? I'm about this thing called empowerment. That's what my nieces like her. They saw something about a strong woman in her and they liked it. And they were and that's not Travis Kelce. They would not get along. I mean, it's not like like Dean Kane's not going to get married to Taylor Swift or Kid Rock. Although who knows? Maybe they're different people in that world. All right, we're gonna take a break and come back and talk about what Titus alluded to earlier. The war is coming, folks. A war is coming, and that Titus is right. We are not at the bottom of this shitstorm that we are navigating through. We are in, I don't know where, but we're in the abyss, and we still have to hit the bottom. We're not there yet. So when we come back, we're going to talk about that and how Democratic governors Pritzker and Newsom are raising alarm bells this week in no ambiguity. They are saying it very clearly what's going on, and it's up to the rest of us to wake people up. So let's take a break, come back with more of what just happened right after this. And welcome back, Dean Obeidallah Show. It's Friday, August 29th, and all three great comedians are still here. Amel Khalil, actress, comedian, Lizz Winstead, and Titus. So Titus, I got to go to you because you touched on it earlier in this. I sincerely believe we are in war. I don't think Republican Donald Trump wants to govern. He wants to rule us. The sending the military into the street. I was so glad Governor Pritzker said it point blank this week. It is not about crime. It's about control. I've been saying that over and over. It's not like Trump and MAGA are like, oh, those poor Democratic liberals. They have crime in their area. Let's send the U.S. military to protect them. They hate us. They hate our guts. Trump said he hates Democrats. So Titus, we're at war. And I think one side gets there at war. That's the side that's winning right now. And finally, Pritzker and Newsom are using the language that you need to wake us up.
Well, Democrats are slow to wake up, always. The weird thing about this is having troops in the streets. These guys joined the military because they were tired of picking up garbage at their fast food jobs. Now they're in the streets picking up garbage as soldiers. It's pretty ironic. Here's the deal, man. We actually have started to face, Democrats have to wake up. I think we are always so worried about process. We're always so worried about what's the norms we need to follow to make the changes. But when you look at what's going on, there's not a Republican that's standing up. The Supreme Court's not standing up. It's going to be in the streets. And the saddest part about all of it is that I think that we are at a place now. I didn't want to live through history. You know, in the 80s, I built bike ramps and I skateboarded. I want to go back is what I want. But now I'm going to have to use my skateboard as a weapon. And I'm fine with that. I guess so. At least at least it'll be fun. I'll see you out there, Dean.
You're going to be out there. You're going to be the Air Force because you're going to be on your skateboard. We're going to hand you things and you fly over and just start throwing things. Look, you think we're getting to the point? Do you think it's inevitable there's going to be an actual war or just skirmishes?
Okay, let's talk about it. All right. Who's coming to save us? What group of people? He's already got the military doing what they're doing. It's going to take somebody. He's fired everybody who had any common sense, anybody who was actually standing for the Constitution. He's cleaned house. I was watching Rachel Maddow this week, and he has gone through every head of every department and taken out anybody that will stand up to him. So you tell me who's coming. Tony Stark?
I'm not suggesting someone's coming.
Yeah,
I was trying to get to
so what else? What's left? Liz,
Yeah.
What's left?
I mean, I feel that way too. And to your point, Chris, you don't have the people who are in our military would have to say, I'm not doing this because it's illegal, but they are not in it with any kind of brain mindset to that. And second of all, you know what? Here's the bottom line. As somebody who has run an organization that has begged people to join us in the streets for 10 years and had people, I can't, I'm busy. Unless Americans decide that this country is bigger than themselves and that they are going to defend their neighbors and their communities and injustice as it lays itself out, we are hosed. Because that is, you go to the street, not for you, but because of what you want to see in the world and for others. I hope. That is why I do it. And
Right.
People need to understand that this is bigger than us. You know, you look at the women of Iran, who are out there with higher stakes you know, and American women, why are they not out in the streets? Why aren't people not out in the streets? You know, I mean, I look at the women of Iran and they're just, I'm so inspired, and they know they will be going, they're giving their lives
Mhm.
because the generation that comes after them, or because they understand that there's power in numbers, and there's power in making sure that their humanity is recognized, and that you have to make a decision that says, I will no longer allow this voice and these rules and this occupation be the only thing that stands and that represents me. It doesn't represent me, and I don't want anyone who does not have the agency that I have feel like they're the ones who are swimming in this alone. I just can't do it, and Americans need to get there.
Yeah.
It's a great point. Amel, when you hear people talk about the military's occupying Washington, D.C., you're like, well, we're Palestinian. We know what occupation really like. This is not yet an occupation. You have to have checkpoints. You have to have your land stolen, your olive trees taken down. You need a lot more to get to real occupation. But at this point, the West Bank's looking almost lateral move to the United States. I'm like, well, you know, I can go to Ramallah and live there.
Yeah, I think it's more than that. Like, so to Titus's point, like, yeah, I do think like a revolution and like a very violent revolution is like one way to get to the solution that we want, which is like a regime change. But I also think that, to Liz's point, if more people like just change their behavior, whether that's getting in the street, whether that's picking up a skateboard, or whether that's spending your dollars differently, they will have to respond differently. People, like corporations, respond to how we are purchasing. BDS does work. Like, there are ways to shop responsibly. Like, you can do more than just say you don't like what's happening. You can spend responsibly and talk about this shit. And then the extreme version of that is like, I'm gonna get out and fight, right? Like, I'm gonna pick up my skateboard. And so we do have an option that doesn't lead to like a lot of violence if we are just careful every day. Whereas in the West Bank and in Gaza, there doesn't matter how these people spend their money. They're done. Like, they
Right.
do not have the power.
If I can jump in, I do.
Titus, you're going to be our George Washington, by the way.
I just do agree with you though, because what we did in California when those troops showed up, we didn't go crazy, and they didn't know what to do. They wanted us to fight, and we did. I think that's a decent point, but we have to get together and do it. And the problem is there's a bit I did a special called Neverlution, where I was like, everyone's like, revolution, and then they're like, hold on, what day? I got a thing on Monday. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the problem, is that if it's Monday, it's Monday. We call everybody, we're not going to be there. We're going to go face these guys down. And I agree with you. I don't think it has to be violent. I do believe that this guy wants violence, and that so he can shut it down.
And they're preparing for that. That's what they are preparing for and testing in DC and like the co-op cities. Like, they're prepared for the numbers that we don't realize we have the power behind.
But it may change if we stand up there, we don't get violent, we stay passive, and they start going violent. Some people are going to get hurt, but I think that'll change things too. I'm not saying it's the only way. It just feels like that's what's coming. And then again, I'm kind of an angry guy, so maybe it's just me.
No, but look, the trajectory we're on, if you were looking at in another country, you know, at some point there's going to be two hard objects facing each other, right? It's either going to be, if we all stood up, then the military has to make a choice. They are fellow Americans. They might be like, I'm not here to hurt you, and I'm not going to do this. That's happened in other places in the world, right? So we just don't know how it's going to play out if we even get to that. Trump wants violence, but this week Pritzker and Newsom, Liz, said that Trump wants to end elections. They both said that independently of each other, that his goal with this military outlay now is a test. The test is to put the military out in 2026 around voting locations and intimidate people. And they didn't mention this last part, but the other thing I think is for the military to go out and take the voting machines before the votes can be counted and go, well, there's fraud. We have to seize all these machines. And then you can't have votes from blue areas be counted. Maybe you have a new election, maybe you don't. What do you think? Do you think Trump's goal is to end elections?
Well, he said it. You know, like, for Pritzker and Gavin Newsom to come forward and echo what Donald Trump has said publicly, and what they have said publicly is they should, and I think that's good. But you know, I also think too, you have Tim Walz here in Minnesota
Mhm.
saying all that same stuff, and also saying, stop selling out trans people because we are multifaceted humans and we don't need to be looking at this bogeyman that's been happening for the past 2 years. And I think it's important to not try to, I don't know, the Gavin Newsom thing. I love what he's doing. He's great at trolling. I think it's amazing. But I
Is.
also think too, he's made some real missteps and really done some harm to the communities who are being affected most. And as we've seen what happened in Minnesota with a trans person being the assailant in this school case, and we've seen it, trying to, Tom Emmer, congressman, jumps right in. We have to stop, roll back the rights of trans people. So as our violent communities are acting violent, shocking, we've fomented violence in this country and romanticized it for so many years that like your first response is that I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying.
It is. No, it's the demon. Look, if the person doing the shooting is someone that MAGA views as an enemy, then they have that opportunity then not to talk about guns. It's just great for them. And access to guns. They could talk about the shooter, right? If it's just a random white guy, even a right-wing white guy, they would say things like today, Mike Johnson, the speaker, said, it's not about restricting access to guns. It's changing people's hearts. That's what they say. I'm like, well, their heart stops.
Starving them? Look at the bill you just passed. Whose heart are you changing?
Well, I mean, when your heart stops beating because a bullet went through, it doesn't really matter.
Or if you don't have one and you're making laws, like, what are you even saying?
Well, things are going to get better because the Pentagon announced the reinstallation of a Robert E. Lee portrait to the U.S. Military Academy. And on the portrait of Robert E. Lee, which was taken down in 2022, the federal government formed a commission to get rid of Confederate stuff. On the portrait, there's actually a slave leading. So they are going to put up Trump and Hegseth in the U.S. Military Academy a painting of a slave owner who led a violent revolution slaughtering patriotic Americans with his slave in the picture. And I can't wait to the ceremony. Are they going to dress like Plantation Best? They're going to come in like, kind of like, is it going to be a theme thing? Is Paula Deen going to cater it? Remember her with that whole plantation?
Oh my God.
Like, where's this? Like, how do you have that ceremony? Everyone gathers around and they go, oh, look, it's a slave owner with his slave. And that guy led to the slaughter of thousands and thousands of patriotic Americans in the fight to defend slavery. Titus, where are we? How insane is this bullshit?
I was looking at this list and I was like, I can't even write a joke about this, man. We're to the point now where when are they going to put those hot boxes on the lawn of the White House to put Democrats in? The white supremacist level is so high at this point, and the only thing it's going to, but this is why we keep talking about peaceful protests. What's that going to change, man? These guys, we need to have an American Nuremberg at one point to get to these guys. They got to go. The only thing that's going to stop this, Nixon left. There was a decorum we had, and this is going back to Democrats, but there was also laws that got passed. Menendez is in jail. Like, I don't understand why these people who talked about a government taking us over and the white supremacy, talking about you want to know some vicious tyrannical government, and we have the tyrannical government who is now literally putting up pictures of slaves, like at least the slave was leading the horse. At least that was right. Good. But that's the only upside I got, man. That's the only upside I got.
It's at the same time, you have the same Republican Party that's trying to gut the Voting Rights Act. They just said in their case for the Supreme Court with Louisiana, race should not be considered when you're dealing with voting. Oh, you mean the Voting Rights Act shouldn't apply? So, Liz, I mean, on this path, you have to look at, they want to turn everything back. They get rid of Roe v. Wade. That brings us before 1973. Get rid of the Voting Rights Act of 65. The next thing is the Civil Rights Act of 1964. That's where we have to be heading now, where you should not allow any discrimination based on race is fine unless it's against white people, because MAGA in polls believes white people are the biggest victims of discrimination based on race. And I'm not kidding. That's where we are, a level of white victimhood that we have never seen before.
Well, I mean, when you couple that with this brand of Christian nationalism that Pete Hegseth belongs to and that they all are adhering to, that is also the component has the one family, one vote aspect to it, right? Where the head of the household is the person that votes for the family. And then you combine that with looking at There's 4 states who have proposed, and like New Hampshire is one of them. New Hampshire is the new South, you guys. Like, pay attention because it's really bad.
Wow.
Lowering the age of consent to 14 and the age of marriage to 14, so
Easy.
that you literally are taking away the rights of women and people with uteruses, young girls, who put them into marriages with adult men, and from 14 to 18 you're a breeding mare and you have
That's
no
right. Oh my
you know
God.
say anymore. So when you look at all of these sort of things that aren't making the headlines, but governors in these states are pushing it wholeheartedly. I mean, literally, the governor of Utah tried to change the age of consent because a relative of his was to say, it doesn't matter if you're 18, if you're in high school and you're 18, then you can't get convicted of having sex with a minor because you're still in high school, because relative of his was an 18-year-old in high school who had sex with a 14-year-old.
So if you're in
like,
AP math class, like AP math, you're advanced.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
I know. My feeds are really a bummer, you guys.
Well, a lot of these comics in the last few years are going to get their records cleaned, which is good.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
exactly. This is not supposed to be dark. This is the funny segment on the show, everybody.
I'm sorry. I'm
Laugh
always
up.
bummer
Yeah,
theater.
no,
I feel like I
it's
know.
not bummer. I didn't know about that. I think the age for marriage should be 35, the minimum.
Yeah,
40.
really.
Like it should be raised, not lowered. This idea. But you make a great, Liz, because you work so much in the space of reproductive freedom. The reason they want to bring it to 14 years old is because they want to have more years where women or children could have children.
Yes.
To have
White
more white
children.
children. That's really what it's not black children. They don't have black and
No,
brown children.
100%.
It's white
Yeah.
children, and they want it. And at 14, start then. By the time the person's a woman, she's got 4 kids. She's like 19, and she's there with her 4 kids, and the husband's gone or whatever he's doing. And this is the world, America. Great. It is. Okay, is there anything fun? Oh, this is fun. Cracker Barrel. Let's at least something that's kind of fun. So Cracker Barrel, it is so weird. The right creates their own scandals and controversies. Cracker Barrel, they changed their logo, the old timer guy in the logo. They replaced it and made it like just generic. The new logo sucked. Forget the guy. It was just generically bland. It's just the words. I'm like, that's not a good logo. But they were upset that the old timer guy was gone. And Donald Trump and others said, you've got to change this or we're not going to shop at Cracker Barrel. I was like, why do you need an old guy? And I assume he was white in the image. That's what we're all assuming. Why did they give a shit? It's like with Cindy Sweeney with the jeans thing. Like they make up their own thing and then they fight both sides of the issue. Like we're not even engaging. On the left, we're like, I don't even want to know why you're upset. Okay, just fight with yourselves. And then Cracker Barrel gives in because the right went ballistic over something that we were not part of. Like it had nothing to do with us. Yet somehow they're like, Democrats wanted the logo changed. I'm like, Hakeem Jeffries, I don't think he wants anything changed. I think he's pretty happy.
Can I just say, here's my take.
Please, Liz.
Here's my take.
Go ahead.
The reason Democrats, we want every right-winger eating at Cracker Barrel as much as possible because I would like heart-stopping food to be running through their veins constantly. So I don't want to upset that apple cart in any way, shape, or form. Any threatened boycott of Cracker Barrel, I'm like, change your back. I don't care what you do. Put Robert E. Lee on your thing if that's what you want.
Gravy.
It's fine.
Free gravy, right? Free biscuits and gravy. What is wrong with you people? Amel, have you ever been to a Cracker Barrel?
No, brother. I have not been to a Cracker.
When I toured as a comic more in the South and stuff, like I went, they were fine. They were like, they're no different than any other fast food chain, except you can sit down and they had some salad and they had some crappy stuff, but they had some stuff that was tasty. It was no big, that's all it was to me. Like it was never a cultural iconic thing. Like I didn't go there to make a statement. You know what? I'm going to be here as a liberal. Like it's Cracker Barrel. It's on the side of the road. It's like Waffle House. It's not much different to me than Waffle House. I go to Waffle House when I was on the road as a comic and had like scrambled eggs. I thought it was great. Titus, you've traveled the world all over. You probably did a whole special on Cracker Barrel, right? Is there an album?
Right.
Called My 4th album was called Cracker Barrel. It was recorded in a Cracker Barrel.
It's really bad marketing that the Cracker Barrel pissed off crackers. I think it's just when your base is crackers, you got to cater to crackers. You know what I think we should just we can cover all of it. If we just tell everybody the dude sitting next to the barrel was Morgan Freeman, I think we're fine. That covers everybody. He's like an old guy. Everybody likes him. He's a black guy. That includes everybody.
Well, I also want to remind people that, like, because I'm old, that back in the 90s, like the reason I've never been in a Cracker Barrel was because the reason I heard about Cracker Barrel back in the 90s was because they were firing gay employees. So
Yeah.
let's be clear on Cracker Barrel's politics. They're trash, but like, yeah. So they're also bad at life.
So they're bad at life, not the best at food. I know that their biscuits and gravy were a big thing. I didn't like it. And they used to have anything with a country store type of feel in the front, you'd go in, it's really for people in the South, and it's fine.
It's somebody else's nostalgia.
Right. It's someone else. So, we got like a minute left. Okay, just for joy. So Sean Hannity said to Bill de Blasio, he had de Blasio on, and Hannity said he left New York because I had a hard time going to a restaurant in New York City because people would stare at me and they hated me and they had daggers in their eyes. I'm like, I guess you were in a Cracker Barrel because this is great. I love New Yorkers. I'm a New Yorker. If someone comes up with a MAGA hat on the subway, we see someone that there's every now and then, every head in the subway is like, you can feel it. We're like, what, are you trolling us? Like, why would you wear this here? So I think it's fun. Liz, you live in New York City for a long time. This is a New York thing, right? You see a scumbag like Hannity or Tucker Carlson, you're going to stand it. We might even say something, to be honest.
New Yorkers would tell you they hate your shirt. So if you start bringing all this other extra stuff, like, know where you're at. Bye. I mean, I'm sorry, Amel, that like this is happening to you, that you're inheriting Sean Hannity, but like, here's your hat. What's your hurry, buddy? Get out. Nobody likes it. Yeah, we'll let you know.
Any guy I moved to Florida, the free state of Florida, because they gave me dirty looks at restaurants. I'm like, you're a jackass. I would just like to get recognized at restaurants. That's the difference. Like, I would have dirty looks. I'm like, oh, it's Dean's here. I'm like, who knows me? This is really good. Wow, I feel all right. Before we have like a minute left, I want to give everyone a chance to plug their stuff so people can follow your great work. Amel, where can people follow your great stuff?
Amel MK on social, and then a podcast called It's Okay Habibi.
It's Okay Habibi.
Yeah.
I saw that. Great. Congratulations on that. All right. My friend Liz, where can people follow your great work?
You can find me at Lizz Winstead on all the platforms. Please follow Abortion Access Front at Abortion Front. And I have a podcast called Feminist Buzzkills that drops every Friday.
Great. So, and Titus, who's recording an album right now as we speak, I assume this is not, I always joke, this is your next album. This is what we did. Where can people follow your stuff? Because you're always touring all the time.
I'm actually touring with a new show called Doomed to Repeat, which is really about all of this. So I'm touring around the country. I'll be doing that for the next year. The Armageddon Update is my podcast. And we just keep up the good fight, kids. We got to keep up the good fights. And just be clear, when you bring up stuff about like, how do we protest peacefully, I want that to happen. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't feel like that's what's going to happen. So I'll see you guys.
It's time to pick up the skateboard. I'm going to be right by you.
I'm buying Kevlar. I'm on Amazon right now. That's right.
All right.
Excellent.
Everybody, get it before the tariffs kick in. Thank you. All three of you were great.